Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
Now, here's your host, Ed Cohen.
Hi, it's Ed Cohen again in San Diego, and our special guest today is in Finland. Nanna Hänninen is a photo artist, and we're going to be talking about images and viewing the idea of looking at a picture, and I'm going to see it differently because I'm me, and you might see it differently, and Nanna is going to have a different interpretation, and Paul might also. Who knows? So the whole idea is to better communicate using images, and this really comes into play when there's global teams, cross-culture, cross-silo, cross-company, cross time zones. Let's welcome Nanna Hänninen. Hello.
Hello, Ed.
Oh,
nice to see you.
Thank you for being our guest again today. November 3, 2020. It's election day in the U.S., and we'll all watch and see what happens. Craziness.
The whole world is watching.
Yeah, the whole world. Okay, so we're going to be normal here today and talk about impression. This is about like impressionistic art, isn't it?
Yes. We will talk about images and name a method, how images affect us, how images help us to communicate, to tell our ideas to each other, maybe even ideate or talk about the future if it's needed.
So in your Nemo method, which is in effect not only in Europe, but also in California, Silicon Valley, and perhaps other places now. So the idea is what, simply, how does this work?
NEMO method is organizational facilitation tool. We facilitate discussions with art, with conceptual art, but also with photographs that are taken by the participants themselves. We give assignments to the clients. For example, we can ask our clients, how do you see your future within a year? Take a photograph of that, of you in a year. And then everybody goes and takes the photograph of themselves, how they imagine themselves in a year. And then we talk about those photographs. We try to see what the others have been trying to tell in the images, and this is how we get to know each other better. And this is also where we get wording to certain things that we don't have words, in a way. We invent words, we invent discussion through images.
I got it. Okay. So I assume you do this in Silicon Valley with the multicultural atmosphere and environment in Silicon Valley. There's Chinese people, there's Indian people, and Americans of every size, color, shape, and background. It's a smorgasbord. So is this effective? This must be proving effective.
It's really effective, especially when the English language it's not the mother tongue for most of the people in Silicon Valley, all over the world. It's not the mother tongue, so it helps us to communicate. It helps us kind of bring down the barriers, communication barriers between people, when we start to understand how people actually are thinking. It's visualizing the thinking in a way. So it helps also people from different cultures to communicate and diverse teams to, understand each other much better than before.
So I want you to hold up one of your photos on a card that you have, and let's see a couple. And I've got one that I'd like to talk about with you as well. Okay, ready for you.
Yes. Well, I have a photograph here. Let's see if you can see it nicely. Now, maybe you can see it.
So is it a bear, or is it, well, it looks like a mountain or a lump of something. but the clarity is not 100% on my screen. Tell us what this is.
Well, this work is called Unsolved Universe, and it talks about that understanding the universe, understanding the world where we are, is like it's a thriving force for us people. All the innovations come out of this curiosity. All new artworks, all the new books come from this curiosity that we try to understand who we are, why we are here, where we came from, and where we are heading to. And kind of this artwork talks about this this universe that we are trying to unsolve. That's like that thrives us. And after my belief, we also never will totally find it out, and that's the tricky thing that keeps us going, because we will never find out. It's too big. We will not find it out, but this makes us moving.
Yeah, so we strive towards understanding, and there's always something more to learn.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
and
you can actually see this one.
Good. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So that's enlarged. And what, may I tell you what I see?
Yes.
All right. I see either in spring or fall a branch with leaves, but not fully out there. It looks like it's end of season or beginning of blooming season. But I see a wiry bush with branches and leaves on it. I think it looks vibrant and alive.
Mm-hmm. Is this actually familiar to you, this bush? Do you recognize it?
No.
Okay, because it's very close to you. It's taken in Joshua Tree in California at the desert. And the work is called Future at Stake. And it talks about the future, that we actually don't see into the future. We can try to imagine what kind of a future is ahead of us, but we don't see there. It's behind this black backdrop. And in Joshua Tree or in Mojave Desert and in the Death Valley, they are measuring every summer higher temperatures. So this bush, which is called creosote bush, which is the whole desert, the Mojave Desert, is filled with this bush. It clones itself, a bush after a bush, which is very interesting. There are tens of thousands of years old plants in the desert, and it's actually one of the oldest organisms on Earth that will survive the heat, the dryness, the climate change. But what about us humans?
That's amazing. I had no idea that would survive in Death Valley. Because it was like 130 Fahrenheit in August.
Yeah, the highest ever recorded.
Yeah.
I think. So actually, I asked you to send me a photograph of a topic that also talks about the unknown. I told you a sentence which was secure with the unknown, and you sent me an image. So let's look at that image for a second.
Yep.
It's here.
Yeah.
So please tell me what's your secure with the unknown?
Well, this was taken about 2 years ago by me. This is in San Diego, California, in the harbor. And it's in an area called Seaport Village, which is a commercial tourist place. And this tree, incidentally, is no longer there. They chopped it down. Oh. And that's not sure why, but there's no tree there now. But at the time, this tree was beautiful, as you could see. And the lighting, you see the sun about halfway up in the screen. The sun is coming through the clouds. This is at summertime, late afternoon, say about 5 p.m., 6 p.m., San Diego. And the sea clouds are coming in on the bottom there. That's the ocean out there. And coming this way, the the fog and the late afternoon clouds coming in. And here you see it's a man and a woman, young people who climb that tree, and they're having a conversation. So it's not easy to get up in that tree, although it's doable, of course. They did it. And they're sitting there having a conversation. So the conversation to me is they've had some difficulties, and it looks like the guy is on the right waving his arm, and she's sort of hunched over and listening and wondering, where are we going with this? And so anyway, that's what I see.
It's a beautiful story. It's definitely about secure with the unknown. They were bold enough to climb up and have a discussion in there in this extraordinary, unusual place, so to speak, which doesn't exist even anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
It just, it's crazy. Now, if you look at the bottom of the picture, look down on the bottom, you see the shadow of the tree, the branch, and the two people in the middle.
Yeah.
That's their reflection on the sidewalk.
That's really, really beautiful. It's a beautiful image.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Okay, it's your turn.
Yes. Well, why I chose this sentence for you is actually that we in Nemo are in the middle of our own strategic process. And because we are Nemo, we use our own method in our strategic processes. And we have been photographing on our values, and we have been using art cards to define our values. And we actually came up now with this value that we are secure with the unknown. And that's very important for us to be secure with the unknown, because it's very much, it's a big part of creative processes, innovation, about being courageous. It's like a way of being that you need to have in order to innovate and make new things and go further. You must be secure with the unknown. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. But, sometimes in being creative, it sort of happens without so much thought. Doodling, just writing things down, or reacting, or feeling, let's say with the U.S. election day today, I'm hopeful that there's no danger and no violence, and I'm hopeful that Biden wins really big and fast so that there's no contention. But I'm actually saddened by what's going on. I'm secure in my thoughts that America will go forward and thrive, even if President Trump wins. But it's really going to be difficult because so many people are against the person, not about his successes, because there are some that are very good for the country, but the person is a dangerous person because he's utilizing his expert marketing techniques to sway opinion of vulnerable people in the country. And so I'm saddened by that it was bound to happen eventually in America, but I'm saddened by it. But I'm at the same time, I'm confident that the predominance of the silent majority that's out there of good thinking and well-meaning Americans will finally speak up and not take control, but just influence. And so how can that be imagined in a photograph? I'm not sure right now. Okay. Mm-hmm. But other than show nice images, like you commented on the flag that's my flag, and it was put out some time ago off my balcony here. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to put it out after the show. Because I'm confident that it won't get shot at. You know, I'm confident that it will be a display of good thoughts and positive strength. Now, there are other ways of showing that. And now a word from our co-sponsors. You know, our programs wouldn't happen without the wonderful support of our advertisers. Here they are.
One of the greatest things about attending the Bridge School is that students are able to truly move at their own pace. Students who are advanced learners can move more quickly through the curriculum. Students who are struggling can slow down and take a little bit more time and get additional resources from their teachers. Also, you know, the typical school in a school district is following state set guidelines and standards, and they're following the pace of the entire class. And that isn't always conducive to students. The Bridge School partners with Strong Mind to provide this award-winning curriculum. And with that, students are able to trust and know that they're learning a curriculum that is built on standards that are national standards, that are research-based, and they're chronological based on how students learn. So students can actually go forward and learn that at their own pace and not have to worry if they are meeting the standards that are set forth by the state. They can know that they're learning what needs to be mastered in that course to be successful.
This episode of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by
The Bridge School, the accredited international online private school of choice, at bridgek12.org.
Porch Light Rental and Destination Services. Reduce renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Find them at porchlightrental.com.
CubeMonk, featuring the world's first smart cube. Welcome to the future of moving and relocation at cubemonk.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
And by Airs. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at airs.com. And by International Auto Source. We are the vehicle experts for expats, featuring all major brands of automobiles. On the web at intlauto.com.
Hi Rob and Eva. I just want to say thank you guys to support me to purchase my new vehicle here in USA. And we are enjoying a lot this new vehicle, Mateo as well. Say hello Mateo to Rob and Eva. And thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
As an expat moving to the USA, relocating is exciting, but it can also be stressful. Getting a car, truck, or SUV for personal transportation is usually a high priority. That's where International Auto Source comes in. We make getting the vehicle you want for your work assignment or academic program easy, so you're ready to drive when you arrive. Our product specialists have helped over 50,000 expatriates with their personal transportation needs, making us the largest international auto retailer in the world. International Auto Source gives you flexible payment options to buy, lease, or rent a vehicle from the world's leading auto brands, arrange financing on a purchase or lease without a U.S. credit history, social security number, or driving record, get full insurance coverage, and get approved easily through our low-rate factory-backed financing programs. And because we're an authorized distributor of the world's leading automotive brands, our no-haggle prices are competitive, and the buying experience is hassle-free. We'll even guarantee your new vehicle will be ready the day you arrive. With over 20 years of experience in the global community, we are the vehicle experts for expats. We are International Auto Source.
What other photos do you have on available right now that could show determination or could show belief in the unknown? Oh, that's a good one. Now that's in Joshua Tree.
That was also a Joshua tree. Yes, I will
Yeah,
show
yeah.
you. I will show you this image because when we look at this time a bit later on, we see this time in a different perspective. And on the other hand, there are new generations all the time growing up. Like this is an artwork which is called "The Necessity of Growing Up." We all need to grow up, not just children, but children, they grow up whether we, even if we don't want to, they will grow up because they have the need, they have the inner need. Their cells are, duplicating all the time. So they grow up and they are curious in growing up and in growing into adults' lives also. And they are courageous. And we have to, in a way, we have to believe that these children, the next generations, they have a good place to grow up. They have a good place where they can have their families. If we lose that faith in good, I don't know what really is left there. I think we have to just, have the faith in good, and at least half of the people are still decent and good.
Yeah. So I see this boy. I guess he's around 10 years old, and he's out in the backyard, and it's dark out, with the house light shining on him, of course, looking out into the vast darkness, and he's out there. I don't think has any meaning in using the slingshot. He's just doing it because it's wide open space. It's a sport.
Yes, there is no one in there. There is countryside. He knows there is countryside, and also he knows that his parents are behind him, so he can kind of rely on his parents that they watch out for him, and that's also very important. I have trust in him that he doesn't, use this slingshot to, anyone. And he trusts my opinion that, I have checked out that it's safe to use it. So it's very much about trust also that we can, see in this photograph.
Nice.
Yes. Do you want to see more images?
Yes, please. I love it. So what is this? This is a pocketbook?
This work is called Mother's Handbag. It's actually my mother's handbag, and it's me, her daughter, taking a photograph, and it's my daughter who is holding the bag. So
that's nice. Yeah.
There's this generational chain, and of course, maybe you can say what this brings into your mind before I tell a story about the photograph.
So, my Joanne has a handbag, and in it is everything vital for the moment when we walk out. And so that's the first thing I see. So, where's my phone? Where's my keys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is one thing that comes always into the mind when we look at this photograph. How about the generations? How about the, habits, or I don't know, what did you learn from your parents or your grandparents, and what did you pass on?
I don't see that. It's not primary. It's,
Yeah.
On this one, I'm just one-dimensional.
Yes, well, of course, we all know that in a woman's handbag there is everything. We carry many things with us so that we have them handy when needed. But it also talks about not only concrete things that we have in the bag, but also these abstract things that we have in the bag that we give further. Many habits, many even family secrets that we pass on to our children, and they pass them on to their children. And traumas go also 3 generations further, even if you don't say them out loud. The children will still sense them. And also some customers, when they think about trust and they look at this picture, they say that it really needs a lot of trust to let someone to go into your handbag, because you have to trust that this person takes only the things that this person is allowed to take, and nothing else, because bag is very personal. So we can talk about trust when looking at an image like this.
Yeah. Wow. Let's see another one. Uh-huh. Well, this is looks like a block of ice, but it's in a container, a glass container, and it looks like those are braces to keep it together.
Yes.
Now, so I see a block of ice, and it's in a glass or plastic, and it's held together strong.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. What do you think? Can you hold this block of ice together if it's warm? Does it help to,
Well, if it's warm, then it's going to be water.
Yes, exactly. That's the point of this image. It talks about the ice that it's melting. It's talk about the sea ice, the Arctic ice. Actually, it's a huge block that I sought out with my father from a lake here in Finland, and I took it into my studio and I created this sculpture in a way in my studio, and I wanted to talk about the climate change and it's inevitable that the Arctic ice is actually melting right now, and much faster than anyone expected. And
so you mentioned once that, if I may interrupt for a second on this point, that you're about 400 miles north of Helsinki.
Yes.
So that means that you're closer, of course, to the Arctic Circle. So are you afraid? Do you fear this rise of water?
We are not afraid of rise of water in that sense. It will not rise here where I live. It's more than that. When the climate change goes further, it changed the whole society so much that people from Middle Europe, Central Europe, they need to find new places to live. So there will be lots of, I don't know how you say this, but when people are moving and finding new places to live.
It's called talent mobility or relocation.
Relocation, and it might have even some more negative ways to say it, like actually climate refugee would be the
climate
correct
refugee
term. Yeah. So I think even if we near north, the North Pole and this circle, polar circle, even if you can think that the climate change doesn't affect us much, but it actually will affect because of the climate refugees that will be coming into the land that it's still safe in a way.
Yeah, climate refugees, boy.
Yeah.
So, the U.S. Defense Department is a very large organization here in the U.S., and very, very rich, very powerful, but also, thankfully, non-political. But they've issued, through the Joint Chiefs of Staff, which is the top level, they issued a report about a year ago calling climate change the number one threat to world stability and peace over the next 25 years.
Yes.
And, of course, the current president poo-pooed it and pushed it aside.
Yeah.
But that report is available free to the public in all its detail. And they say that because of people relocation and government change and confusion about what to do with it and who's going to pay for it and all that, it's a major issue.
Yeah.
So
this is exactly what this work talks about, exactly this point. that it's really a global threat, the climate change. It has so big effects that we have to see it in a big picture, what it actually means to us when the global warming goes further.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to something prettier.
Now let's skip that one.
All right. So.
I will just look at something.
Yeah.
Well, here is, we can talk about this. Actually, I could show you an image from my exhibition right now that it's
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
Let's have that.
Talk about your exhibition that's going on, and there's something coming up, right?
Yes, actually, I had an opening. Last week here in my hometown. I have a retrospective exhibition that opened. So I have actually 2 retrospective exhibitions going on in Finland right now. One is at the Serlachius Museums in another town, and this one is in the art museum of my hometown, Art Museum of Kuopio. And I'm kind of in the middle of my career artist, in the mid-career artist. I'm turning 15 couple of years, and I have been working 20 years, over 20 years as an artist and in an international art scene. So I have been showing these artworks, I can say, all over the world, from Beijing to Jakarta, Paris, Zurich, New York several times, Florida, Texas, Houston, all over. And it's like this is like a middle point of my career right now, that I have these big exhibitions. And this exhibition is actually called Understanding the Big Picture. It's a collection of different kind of concepts and ideas, like a diary of different concepts that I have. It has.
So can we zoom in on a couple of these?
Fine. Or we can just look at this one.
So understanding the big picture, and this looks like it's Kleenex tissue.
Yeah.
So does that mean there's a big sneeze coming, or what?
It's paper. For me, paper, I don't know what paper resembles to you, but for me, empty piece of paper, it has endless possibilities. I love white paper because I can start to do whatever I imagine and create and innovate on it. I can, write a poem. Yes, I can write a poem. I can
Blank
make
page.
music piece in there. I can draw. I can maybe make a paper airplane out of it. So paper has been a very important thing for me all the time. I have been using it many times in my career.
So I have to tell you that I'm beyond age 50, and we'll leave it at that for now.
No.
But I really didn't do my best work until 8 months ago, when my business was turned upside down by COVID, and which my business at the time was centered on producing live training conferences in different cities. And that went away on February 27th of this year. So 2-3 weeks later, Paul and I discussed, how do we do video? How do we do this? And so here we are today. And it's really been a wonderful experiment. I'm still developing and quite successful in terms of not so much money, but that'll come later, but in terms of production quality and winning acceptance in bringing people like yourself to want to open up and use this vehicle. And so it's given me like, whoa, new life.
Yes, I'm really happy to hear it. And I think this is the 3rd or 4th time that we have a discussion on your talk show. And I have seen the development that you have been doing, and I'm really
Thank you.
happy that you did this talk show, because it's very important that people all over the world can discuss about important things together. And this is a very nice thing. Of course, COVID is a terrible thing, but on the other hand, as you said, it's one of the best things that happened to you, in a way that, everything you knew was taken away, and you had to you had the white paper. You had to start all over.
Yep.
Of course, you have your experience, but
Yeah.
anyway, you innovate.
So let me ask you, is the container special to you for some reason?
It's just resembling. I think I haven't really been thinking about it. It must be something that there must be a frame, especially when we innovate. There is a frame. There is a need. Maybe this box resembles the need that we need to make the innovation for. Maybe it resembles the whole globe itself, or the humans, and the ideas come out of our heads. I don't know. I haven't been thinking really what this box means to me.
So I'll tell you what for some reason I'm thinking about this now, but at this second, which means I might disappear in another second, but but it's a solid, and it's a sort of milk toast color, just easy color, comfortable color, but it looks solid. And then the paper, to me, it looked like tissue, is overflowing and coming out of the stable structure, which means flourishing. It's an idea development, or reach and strive for whatever you want.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Cool.
It sounds very good.
Well, let's go to something more complicated.
Okay, this is also too much white.
Yeah, something with more contrast. Oh, there we are again. Okay. Ooh, what's that?
Can you see?
Yeah. So that looks like there's two pieces of glass, and in the middle is cotton batting.
Yes.
I don't know what that means.
This work is actually called the greenhouse effect.
Oh.
I have quite many artworks that talk about the climate change, and this is one more of those. It's the the global warming, it's the greenhouse effect, it's the climate science also. The scientists, they are trying to figure out what actually makes our the world warmer.
Yeah, it looks like it's billowing out from a container.
Yeah, exactly. It's in a way it's try out to make science visible, because the scientists, they work in their in their cabins, and nobody understands really their work, the climate scientists, for example. So I try to kind of visualize their work in this picture, the greenhouse effect, and the clouds, that there are good clouds and there are bad clouds. The good clouds, they kind of reflect the heat back to the space, and the bad clouds, they keep the heat near the globe, near the world. So
cool.
Yeah,
so unfortunately, we have about 7 minutes left, but if you could look at the idea of find an image or two that relates to cross-cultural communications, people from different countries, different backgrounds, looking at the same thing, and something that everyone's going to look at it differently.
Yeah. Let's have a look on this image.
Well, so instinctually, I don't think nothing comes to my head right away, other than There's different textures there, although some similarity. But
can I help you?
Yes, please.
Okay. When you think about, I don't know if you have been working in a team, if you had a big team at some point. If you imagine, me neither, by the way. If you imagine in working in a team, and this image would somehow symbolize the people in the team, what would you see then?
Well, okay, in the middle, in the purple, I see a dominant person. And then underneath it, in the dark blue, I see a person who is not the boss, but a strong influence within the group. And then and on my right in the yellow, whatever you call that, that could be a person that is not an A-type personality, somebody who's more, I wouldn't call shy, but just not so expressive. And then just assuming that's a guy on the left in sort of black gray with a lot of white in the middle. That's somebody else at the end of the table. That's what I said.
Well, but that's very nice things that you see, and very clearly in a way, and you describe probably a very usual team. In all the teams, there are very different kind of people, and in Nemo method, what we actually want to bring out is the equality of people, so that each of these, the dominant one and the introvert one, the shy one, they have they both have ideas, and in Nemo method they both they get equal time to speak out, and it's very important that the introverts, they have their show also, and photographs and artwork give them a space to actually express themselves, and this brings the equality in use in a way that gives the equal feeling to everybody, and understanding also between this purple and yellow and blue person.
So tell me how you came up with the name Nemo method.
Well, it comes actually from the word Nemo, which means nothing. And there is this philosopher called John Fowles who wrote this thesis about life, and Nemo was like, if ego is something that, we know that we are certain of our ego. The Nemo is something that we are uncertain. It's the potentiality of us that is still unused. It's the possibility. And that possibility, that potentiality, that either drives us crazy and drives us do crazy things, or it drives us to make good choices and good, it motivates us to change the world, for example, or make good choices and good moves in the life. So that's where the word Nemo actually comes from. It comes from this Nemo, Latin word Nemo, nothing.
Nanna Hänninen, this is heartwarming to have this conversation with you and fun. And I really appreciate you. I invite you to come back on Global TV Talk Show. And people can find you on LinkedIn, right?
Yes, they can find me in LinkedIn. My name is Nanna Hänninen. They can also find me at nemomethod.com. And
that's cool. All right. Well, thanks for being on our show. And we'll see you again soon, I hope.
Thank you, Ed, and have a great election day. I wish you all the best luck.
Peace. Thank you.
Good.
Ciao.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.